So I have really yet. I'm gonna change this later real quick. I have yet to do a video on the XXL freshman class, and I've only been doing rap videos for maybe a year now. I don't know why it was just never. Um, XXL freshman is never really on my mind. Last year they did the. Last year I remember seeing it. I remember being interested by it, but I didn't do a video on it. I don't know really why. It just didn't seem like necessary for me to do a video on it. But this year I saw the list and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to one project from every single one of these artists, get a couple tracks from them, and just kind of form my opinion on these guys, and then give you guys a ranking of the XXL freshmen because their ciphers are I think late July. So I'm gonna rank all of these XXL freshmen. Nobody else is really doing this right now, so I decided I would just get on it. Um, uh, Keep in mind, I didn't listen to full discographies here. Most of these artists max had 3 projects out. I only listened to the most recent one from all of them. So I did my best to be fair and form an opinion around them, not just off of one project. But so I kind of went back and listened to some other stuff that they had. But I did my best to try and form a fair opinion on all these guys. So there are 11 freshmen, and I listened to one project from all of them. And another reason why I listened to this list is because I heard how bad it was. People called this one of the worst lists ever. Some people have called this the worst list ever. So I was intrigued to hear how bad it was. So, and I'll be honest, I wasn't crazy about most of these guys. So they're 11 freshmen, and I guess we'll just go up from it. If you don't know what the XXL freshman is, I don't know if I need to explain it. It's just a list of 11 upcoming rappers that most people like. It's just a list of upcoming rappers that have been kind of coming up recently. They've been in features. They're kind of popular, but they're not crazy popular yet. Every once in a while, at least once a year, there's always that one artist that kind of has a really big hit under their label or under their name, but they're not massively viral. Like Pooh Shiesty is kind of that one here, where every person in hip hop knows his name. People know 42 Doug pretty well too. Flo Milli too. Those are the ones that I think people really know. Oh, also INDR, but let's just go through. Let's rank them 11 to 1. Let's go. All right, my least favorite freshman of 2021, number 11, is Flo Milli. This was one of the biggest mistakes of my life, was listening to a full Flo Milli project. Oh my God, I don't know where the hype is around this woman. Her production style is the most boring piano beats possible. Her production style is basically looking up the baby type beat. Her flow is terrible. She never flows on the beat well. Her vocals are obnoxious. She doesn't even do any subject matters. Interestingly, she's just this terrible wannabe Nicki Minaj. I honestly cannot stand her. I went back, listened to this project from her. Is terrible. I listened to some other features from her. I'm sorry, I do not understand a bit of the hype here. This was quite a rough artist to get through. There was another one here. Number 10 was pretty close to being my worst, but Flo Milli, sorry, had easily the worst flow, production style, and really everything of this list. Flo Milli, yeah, no, not a good choice. Not a good choice of XXL, not good. Number 10, I have Ruby Rose. I didn't know until not that long ago when I was reading through the replies of that Ruby Rose was is a Instagram model rapper. Now, I don't actually really have an issue with artists going from, being like a YouTuber to a rapper. There's one of those in this list, actually, another one. I don't actually have a problem with that, but I do kind of have a problem with going from I would be okay with Ruby Rose being a model to rapper if she was a good rapper. Unfortunately, she isn't at all. Her music is terrible. There was really nothing about her music that I found enjoyable or cool. It was all really boring to me. That's mainly what makes her a little better than Flo Milli's. Her flow and her vocals weren't nearly as bad as Flo Milli's, but her style is still as boring and uninteresting. Honestly, Ruby Rose is ass in 2 ways. She's just not good. I just did not care for anything that this woman had on her projects. So, Ruby Rose, nah. If there's any freshman I'll forget from this list, it's my number 9, Tusi. I will not remember a thing about Tusi. I seriously cannot tell you an interesting thing about this guy. His music was just, it's just the most boring thing. It's just, guitar beat, sad. It's like Polo G kind of production, The only difference is at least Polo G can be an interesting rapper. 2C was just so boring on every single track. His style, his flow, it just doesn't sound interesting. I just don't care for this man. Really nothing to say. Just easily the most boring person on this list. 8, I got ENDR. I don't actually know if it's pronounced EN or IN, but more of my point about ENDR is, I'm going to say EN, just because that's usually how that's said. ENDR, the most interesting thing about this guy is that he's even on this list, because he absolutely does not belong here. Yeah, sure, he is upcoming rapper, but let's just please remember that this man, not that long ago, has a #1 single under his belt. Like, if you have like a Billboard hit under your belt, I think you're okay for an XXL freshman list. But this guy's on freaking Mood. One of if not the biggest hit of 2020. That song has 1 billion streams. Why is he on this list? He doesn't need the attention. He already has, the fact you were on Mood on his resume. Like on his radar. That's a thing for him. He has that under his belt. He doesn't need a freshman cypher under his belt either. And plus, his music isn't even good. He's just the most boring pop rap. I'm sorry, he totally shouldn't have been here. And the fact that he is here, he's still not good. So, number 7 is probably going to be my most controversial choice. Pooh Shiesty is my number 7 choice. I just don't understand the hype for him. I hadn't heard Shiesty Season until recently, so I listened to this for this list. I listened to Shiesty Season, and I just don't get it. It was just a really, boring trap album to me. There wasn't really an interesting flow. He went off of no creative vocals or anything lyrically. It was just kind of this dead weight trap album that really had nothing to offer, in my opinion. I honestly think Pooh Shiesty has an incredibly boring style, and I don't think I care for his success. I know he's probably one of the biggest upcoming rappers right now, but honestly, this project really bored me to death, and I don't really care what he does next, just being honest. My number 6, I have 42 Doug. 42 Doug is probably one of the more hyped up people on this list. You might be surprised by my top 5, but 42 Doug for me was close to being good, but not really. My biggest thing with him is I think he has a very hit or miss vocals. Screw the his lyrical content or whatever. That doesn't really matter here. More what matters is the fact that he has a vocal set that sounds really badass on some songs, like that song For the Gang with Roddy Ricch. That's a great track. And there's a couple of tracks from his Freedom Boys album that I really enjoyed. But my main issue with him is I think his vocal set, if he doesn't use it in the right way, it sounds really bad. So I think 42 Doug is pretty hit or miss for me. I think he can be great, but I also think he can be pretty awful. And it's not hard for him to be awful, and it's a little more difficult for him to be great. But I definitely don't see the no potential in 42 Doug. I think he could put out something pretty solid. I just think from what I've heard, I don't really care for him all that much. But, he's had a couple bangers on it. I think For the Gang is actually quite a fun trap song. That rock sample is honestly great. And any track with Roddy Ricch is fun. So, my top 5 is really when I start actually enjoying these artists. My number 5 is surprisingly Coi Leray. Okay, I don't know if I really say I like Coi Leray, but I enjoyed the project from her. She hasn't done a project since 2019, and she switched up her style a bit since then. So her project I listened to, which is DC2, I think is what it was called, or EC2, I forget the name, but I liked it. It was fun. It was nice. It had some bangers on it. It had some nice vocals. I liked it. Main thing I have to know about Coi Leray, though, is her new vocals that she really made her pitch higher, and it's very much like 42 Doug for me, that I feel like the vocals can work at some points. They've sounded nice. I like her verse on Impatient, but as a whole, I don't know if I love her style. I think she has some interesting vocals, and I think she could be really good, but also I've heard some features from her where I just don't think she's good at all. So really, at the end of the day, very much a hit or miss artist for me. The only reason I put her above 42 Doug is because I think she has a good project I've heard under her belt. I did not care for the Freedom Boys project all that much. So, however, 4 and up, I would say I quite enjoy these artists. My number 4 is DDG. YouTuber turned rapper, probably one of the most successful sides of that. This guy was a YouTuber for years. I never watched him. I knew he was a vlogger. He quit it, and then he became a rapper, and he's seen much success since then. He has a couple really big hits under his name. Great choice for an XXL freshman list because he's just popping this past couple months. Great choice for the list. He's had a couple hits popping recently. He has like a TikTok viral song, which is always good nowadays. He has a whole project with OG Parker, one of the most prominent trap producers out there. He has some big features under his belt, like Lil Yachty, and I think he'll be seeing much success in the future. I'm okay with that. I listened to his project with OG Parker, Die for Respect, because it just came out a couple days ago. I really liked it. I felt like DDG had a very nice flow. I thought he had really great confidence to him. I think he's actually more interesting than a lot of trap artists out now. I think he has a very fun style to him, and I'm much interested to hear what he's going to do. I don't think Die for Respect is an amazing album, but I enjoyed what it is. I think in terms of YouTube rappers, I do think he's been the most successful now that he has an XXL spot, but I don't think he beats KSI as my favorite. I'm sorry, I actually like KSI's music quite a lot, so I don't think he's better than KSI in that sense, but I think he's going to be seeing much success, and I think I'll probably be dropping a new project by the end of 2021, and I'm interested. So, number 3 is my most surprising enjoyment on this list. The third best, in my opinion, is Lakia. I was shocked. I really like Lakia. I don't know. I thought she had a really cool sound to her. I think maybe okay. I listened to Lakia like not too long after listening to Flo Milli. So I had that bad taste in my mouth. I really thought she was just going to be like Flo Milli and like the kind of hoe rapper style. But I was surprised. I thought she had a great voice, lyrical content. She picked really solid beats. Well, I'm not like crazy about her project In Due Time. I think she absolutely has the potential to put out something great. I think she has a very good flow, style. These top 4 are the ones I really like. Lakia is one of the ones I really like. I think she has a really fun sound. And I'm really interested to hear what she'll put out next. She had a couple tracks where I felt like she was really honest and really personal, and I really liked her. I really like Lakia, and I'm very interested to hear what her next project will be. My number 2 spot is my number 2 spot because I think his project is the second best, but he's the artist I see the second most potential in here. Blast, I think, could be putting out something amazing. I really liked this guy's, the project I heard from him was No Love Lost. I mean, that's, I think, the only project he has out. It was solid as fuck. I felt like he picked really great beats. He had really good flows. Lyrical content was on point, too. I think Blast could put out something really badass in the next couple years. I quite like this guy's stuff. No Love Lost is the definition of an 18-minute project that I really enjoyed, but I absolutely see potential, and that's what I see in this guy. I see the potential to put out something amazing. Obviously, he could fall off. That can happen, but I got confidence. I got confidence in Blast. He's not quite my favorite because I don't think his project is nearly as enjoyable as my favorite's project, but yeah, I think Blast is going to be putting out something pretty solid in the next couple of years. My number 1 favorite freshman, though, is Murray. I kind of expected this going into this list, but I really fucking like Murray. I got introduced to this guy through his feature on My Life by J. Cole. Probably a lot of people, but I love that hook so much. I was very confident I liked it, and his Street Sermons project was solid as fuck. I think he has a very cool... I actually think he's a more interesting Rod Wave. I like Rod Wave, kind of, but I think he puts out way too bland music for me to really like. I think he has I like Rod Wave's vocals. I just think he puts out too boring music. But Murray doesn't put out boring music, and he has a great vocal set. I think he has a ton of potential to be a great hook artist and just be a great artist around. Now, it definitely could fall off, but honestly, I think Street Sermons is the most enjoyable project I heard of any of these guys. And honestly, I think he has the most potential of any artist. I think he could be putting out a classic at some point. I'm just saying. I think Street Sermons was a solid fucking album. So, Murray is my favorite XXL freshman. What are your guys' picks? How would you rank these freshmen? Who do you see the most potential in? Who are you excited to see the best cipher from? My opinion, I think the best cipher will probably be Blast. I don't see Murray having an amazing cipher because I don't know if he's really that kind of artist. But Blast, I think, could put in a freaking awesome cipher. And DDG, too. Lakia might be badass, too. That might be badass, too. Point is, though, yeah, I would say 42. There's just a lot of artists here that I did not care for and I'm never going to think about again. But, there were like 4 or 5 artists here that I see potential in it. I'm interested to see what they do in the future. I haven't done this ever with an XXL freshman list. So I know other lists are better. I mean, if I just look up XXL freshman, I instantly know. Like, yeah, the 2016, we all know 2016, man. Yeah, you had like 21 Savage, what did they have? 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, Kodak Black was designer there. I think Anderson .Paak was there. It was a fucking amazing list, man. There's a couple ones that weren't big there, but still amazing list. I don't see any artist here really. There's no artist here that's really incredible to me, but there's a lot of them that I think could be really solid. So, hey, and also got me into Murray, so that's good, and Blast. So, hey, what do you guys think on the XXL freshman list? What are your favorite choices here? Let me know in the comment section below. I do want to say something. This Friday, there is. Okay, ready? Let me list them off. Okay. Moon Valiant by Hiatus Coyote, Planet Her by Doja Cat, Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler the Creator, Sin City by Ski Master Slump God, and finally, hopefully, The House Is Burning by Isaiah Rashad. I don't know how I'm gonna listen to, and I'm leaving Friday for a trip. I got 5 projects to listen to in one night. I don't know how I'll review them because the review probably won't come out until my trip ends July 3rd, so I'll be gone for a bit. But once I come back, you're getting reviews for all those projects. There's also a new Lana Del Rey project coming out on the 4th that I'm very interested by. I want to hear what she has to offer there. Today was the day I was hoping that we would hear new Lorde, and we didn't, but more my point is that there's a ton of stuff coming, and I'll be reviewing it. If you want to hear my thoughts on all these projects, go follow my Twitter. I will be posting my opinions on all these projects there. I'll probably be writing out some reviews for them, so that's what I recommend. My Twitter is The Shark Event, like THA, The Shark Event of Hip Hop Twitter, HHT. So I'll put that in the link in the description. See you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.